Hello, I'm Ephraim Katzir, and on behalf of Sephardic Heritage International in DC, or Shin DC, we'd like to welcome you to Greek Family Zoom, the Pesach and Shavuot edition. And so here, it's our moderator, Rachel Valelli Glazer. And,
hi, I'm Rachel Valelli, now Glazer as well. And this Greek Family Zoom has begun by popular demand, I think, after a presentation in the fall. So we're, happy to host, and Ephraim thought it was a great idea. So it's meant to be quite informal, although we'll tell you what's coming up. We do have a couple of presenters coming, I think, the next couple of sessions. So today we thought we would do Pesach and Shavuot. In my mind, it's mostly Pesach, just because Shavuot always gets shortchanged, gets the short end of everything. And I'll just open it up when we start and with a few comments, and then perhaps what we thought is we'll go around, everybody introduce, and then have your own.
Look what you're showing down in the corner.
Oh, this thing? Are you talking about my yellow thing? I'm gonna take that down. That's for my class. Sorry. Okay. All right, so who's next? Sarah, do you wanna say a few words?
Yes, I am Sarah Honan Crocker. I come from the Vitulis, Saporta, Cantos, and Honan family, and my father was Rabbi Bernard Honan. And he was, I think, the only sofer in the United States that was Reformed Jewish sofer.
Okay, welcome.
And I've enjoyed all these sessions.
That's great. Okay, I'm just going to go according to my screen. Regina.
Yes.
Oh, I'm next on your screen. Okay, so I'm Regina Francis Valelli. Before Francis, I'm Rachel's sister. We came from Patras, Greece, and
I didn't say any of that.
Rachel was with us when we came.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't say any of my background.
Okay, so
that's good. Say it.
I live in Miami. I have lived here now for 55 years, and well, the rest of my family is in Baltimore. So I have enjoyed this informal get-together and have discovered people that I'm related to, but I don't see her here today yet. Okay. Next.
Esterina, Levy, Tafrizi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have a picture. I can't get something wrong with my screen. Anyways, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I was born in Salonika. I came as a little girl. My parents were Henry and Ida Levy.
My grandmother was from.
They lived in Connecticut and they lived in Florida. So my father and my mother used to go around and talk about their life in Auschwitz. And my father was a Sonderkommando. So he used to speak about that. And I've always been interested in, the Greek background of mine. And I learned Ladino from my parents. So that was a plus. And there's really not many people to speak Ladino in Brooklyn, New York. But we're supposed to be making Aliyah, but right now we're not moving anywhere because of the corona. So I am staying in Brooklyn and trying to do the best we can. And I'm enjoying my grandchildren here. And, we have family in Israel. So this is my life so far.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. Daniela.
I'm Daniela Shockey. I'm first generation American. My parents came from Greece. My father's family originally was from Larissa, and they moved to Salonika in 1921. And my mother's family was always from Salonika. My father is Shaki Al-Khanati, and my mother is Modiano Nachmias. And when they came here, they spoke in Ladino to keep secrets from me because they taught me French instead. And that's how I learned my Ladino, because it's the only way when they keep secrets, you learn the secrets. When they realized that I understood the Ladino, they started speaking Greek, but I was too old by then to learn the Greek. So, but our family was very concentrated here in New York City and in Israel and in Greece. And with my mother's family also in Colombia, South America. And we celebrated the holidays together here in the same building. Part of the family lived in the same building, apartment house. And we had a very, very good time. But one thing is that they never spoke about the past. So it's trying to reconcile things that I've heard with what they experienced. So I appreciate this group. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Annette from? So I think we have, excuse me for 1 minute. We have
There,
like
I got it.
28 people. So I think maybe we can, kind of, we'll have to speed it up a little bit.
My name is Annette Fromm. My grandparents were Joseph and Esther Bacola from Yanina. They met and married in New York. I was raised with my Greek heritage. As a kid, I went to church to learn Greek in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I lived in Yanina from 1983 to 1984 to do my doctoral dissertation on folklore in the Jewish community of Yanina. I've since written more about the Jewish community of Yanina and spoken about the community. I've been an advisor to the Jewish Museum of Greece. And as you've seen on various various Zooms, I'm the associate editor of Sephardic Horizons, which is an online free journal on Sephardic studies. So although I have the Zigzug name, my grandparents were Bacola.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. I have a lot of questions for you, but we'll go on. Judy and Les Bunan.
Hi, my name is Les Bonin. My grandmother came from Salonika, and then she moved to the United States many, many years ago, before I was even born. And I never knew her, but I figured I found out about this group, and I'd like to see what things are, what's going on.
Okay, good.
I
Sarah?
also live in Ellicott City, Maryland.
Oh, okay. Our parts. Sarah Naftali Crum.
Crumbine. I'm Sarah Neftali Crumbine. My grandparents were from Yanina, Greece. Both sets. Sarah Levy and David Legary were my grandparents on my mother's side. And on my father's side were Leonor, Linda, you're gonna have to help me
Leah
with this.
and Judah.
Judah, Naphtali, and Leah Cofino. And we're all, Linda and I are, Leonor is my sister, and Linda is my cousin from the Judah and Leah's side. And I live in Fairfax, Virginia, but I grew up in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, good. We have Bunny Alexandroni.
Yes. So my connection is through my husband, Alexandroni, Moshe Alexandroni, passed away 14 years ago. But he was 7th generation on his mother's side, Jerusalemite.
Wow.
The name of the family was Mizrahi, and we are related to the famous Yitzhak Mizrahi, who was a singer and performed in Tunisia for the king and in other Arab countries. before the state of Israel was declared. And I had the kavod to meet him and visit him. He was at the end of his life. He was in Jerusalem at the hospice, which was on the border at that time. The Daughters of Zion, the nuns, yes, which ran the hospice there, which today is a big, beautiful hotel and restaurant and everything. But so he was 7th generation Jerusalem, but they think the family came from Rhodes. They don't remember because they were in Jerusalem for so many generations, but we think so. On his father's side, Alexandroni, they came from Yugoslavia, from Monastir, and that we know. His father was born in Monastir and came to Israel at 6 months old. So Ladino was spoken in the house, and I was usually the one who read the letters because they were written in English letters, in Spanish, in the Ladino, but in English. And so I would read the letters and then translate them. So I learned a little bit of Ladino. My father-in-law, he corresponded with his cousin here in the United States, with Levy in New York, and in Rochester, the family lived.
Okay,
So I'm trying to learn more about that side of the family for my children.
that's great.
Excuse me, Rachel?
Yes.
Excuse me, I hate to butt in, but I just got a call from my cousin and the baby is on the way. She just went into contractions and I gotta go take care of her kids. So I'm Loretta. I live in Severn, Maryland by Arundel Mills. And my family's from Athens, Kavala, Salonika, Corfu. And I'll see you guys next month.
Oh, Pesach Tova, Loretta.
Congratulations.
Sorry to butt in, but
Okay, bye. Wow, that's exciting. All right, David, Baruch.
My name is David Baruch. I'm from Patras, Greece. My father and his family were born and lived in Narta. My mother is from Corfu. My brother, sister, and I, we were born in Patras. We stayed in Patras until 1956 when we came to New York City. And I am still here.
And in the 50s was the big Patras immigration. We came in 1956 as well.
You came in, the Valelli family came in 4 months.
October.
4 months later, October of 56.
Right. And you were experienced, so you could show us New York. So that was great. Okay, so now we're gonna go to Linda.
Yes, Linda Matza Silverman. And my 4 grandparents came from Yanina. That would be Judah and Leah Naphtali, and Solomon Morris Matza and his wife, Rose Negrin. And Leonore and I, as well as our Naphtali cousins, are putting together as much information as we can. We're going to do a documentary about our family. And Sarah Honan, I think I spoke to you, and I got your number from Rona Matza in California. So we have to talk again, Sarah.
That's great. I'd love to.
That's great. We look forward to your documentary.
When we get to finish it, Leonore and I have not been meeting, even though Zoom is available, to proceed with our project. So we will get to it.
Maybe you'll inspire the rest of us as well.
Oh, Linda, don't forget to tell them about your cookbook.
Oh, that's what I was going to talk to Sarah about. It is coming along, Sarah, and I'm hoping if I could get it together before Passover, but I'm very, very hopeful I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, that's great. Irving.
Good afternoon. Thank you. So my name is Heimson, but the family name from whence my Sephardic heritage derives is Honan. We have traced our family back to the town of Avila, which is about an hour north of Madrid, where I had the pleasure to go and visit and have some experiences that only Sephardic people can have. My grandfather, Isaac Honan, first came from Thessaloniki, from Salonika, married there Allegra Cohen, my grandmother of blessed memory, who never gave a hug without flour emanating from her apron. And to this day, if I see flour in the air, she comes as a visit. Anyway, he came in 1913 and worked to earn money to go back to get his sweetheart, my grandmother Allegra, and bring her here. Her father would not consent to the marriage because he didn't want to lose his daughter. While that was occurring, the ship that they had booked passage on had sunk. And so with that indisputable evidence, the father permitted the marriage. And in 1916, they came to New York City, lived in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. And then by way of Queens, New York, I'm out here in Scottsdale, Arizona, where it's a beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd be very interested in knowing, though, if anyone knows the origin of the name Honan, because it's not a typical Sephardic name, and I haven't been able to trace it back, although there were glimmers that it might be related to Benveniste somehow.
How do you spell it in English?
Honen, and the other side of the family, which is wrong, spells it with an. But look.
Okay.
I take whatever to that, Irving.
All right.
The only other thing I would mention was Pesach.
Irving, did you live on 77th Street in Bensonhurst? What street did you?
We lived on 60th Street and 20th Avenue.
What street in Bensonhurst did you live on?
60th Street and 20th Avenue.
Because my husband was from 77th Street.
Yeah, on the other side of the cemetery. Anyway,
my husband lived on 77th.
I was saying that with Pesach
Parkway.
My grandfather, Isaac, charged me with carrying on the tradition of doing the Seder in Ladino. Great burden put on a young boy at the time, but he knew whereof, and so I continue it, and I put that burden on one of my sons. So I look forward to Pesach every year because he comes and visits me during that service. Thank you.
Hey, wow. All right, Lenore.
Hi. Well, you already know about me. My sister has told you about that, we're Naphtali's, Ligaris, and Levy's.
Right.
We grew up in Brooklyn. We did not grow up in Bensonhurst like most of the family. We grew up on Ocean Parkway, and now I'm living in New Jersey.
With a palm tree behind you.
I wish I could be there.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Andrew.
Good afternoon. I'm Andrew Lovinger, and this is my wife, Eleanor. So Eleanor grew up in Salonika. I grew up in Athens, and we both came to the United States after high school. We've lived here for about, 50 years. My father was active in Jewish affairs in Greece. He was president of the Central Board of Jewish Communities in Greece from the mid-60s through 1991 when he died. So we lived in New York for many years. Now we live in Arlington, Virginia, and it's really a pleasure to meet you all.
Yes, hello. Good. All right, Belle Negrin. Davis. You have to unmute.
I was waiting for you to call me before I unmuted because
Yeah.
I figure we should stay muted if we're not
You
speaking.
should.
Hi, I'm Belle Negrin Davis. My father was born in Yanina. He married a Zigazuk. My father came when he was a baby with his 3 older sisters and his parents. First, they lived in Harlem, and then they moved to the Greek contingent in the Bronx, the Kingsbridge Avenue part of the Bronx. I have lived in Chevy Chase, Maryland since before my marriage, since I graduated college, and I came to work down here. And that's where the Davis names comes from. So I also married a Zigazuk. And
Same here.
Looks like there's a lot of DC, Maryland, Virginia people on this call.
Yeah, we have to have a subgroup.
And I remember meeting Judy Matza a long time ago. I see she's on also.
She's on. All right, Linda Kinsberg. Well, Linda, I think you're frozen. Let's go to Renee Rosenthal. Renee Rosenthal.
Hello.
Hi.
My parents were born in Yanina. They came here over 100 years ago. They spoke Greek, but they did not encourage me to learn Greek at all, but I understood it. I learned what they were talking about. I'm now living in San Francisco, although I grew up in New York.
Okay, good. Okay. All the way from San Francisco here. David R.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Oh. Hi.
Okay. Hi. I'm Reenie's son actually, and I'm on Long Island. So I'm part of the Yom Tov family.
Oh, okay. So you're the younger generation.
Right.
Okay, great to have you. You've brought the average age lower for us. Isaac Daniel, are you there? Can you hear us? You have to unmute if you want to talk. Okay. Well, we'll come back to you. Linda, are you back? Linda Kinsberg? No, she's frozen again. Arlene?
Are you want coffee?
Arlene Udler?
Thank you.
You have to unmute. I don't know. Can you
Her
hear
camera
us?
is aimed at the ceiling, so she may be out of the room.
Yeah, okay. Louisa Ganis?
Hi. Yes. My family, my father's side from Yanina and Volos. My mother's side, last name is Calderon, Frances and Calderon. And from Larissa. My grandfather came from Monastiri. And
Okay, wait, I thought.
Whoops. Okay, I think we lost you. You're muted again. All right, we'll come back, or maybe when you can join us and unmute.
Oh, we came to the United States.
Can you hear me?
Wait, let Louisa finish. Let Louisa finish.
And we lived in the Bronx. There was a large Jewish community there off the Grand Concourse. Then we moved to Queens. And I'm very much interested in learning more about my heritage. And they didn't talk too much about the war or things like that in my household. And my parents spoke Ladino and French in the house when they didn't want us to understand. So I took Spanish and my brother took French.
Good for you. Linda, thank you. Linda, are you okay now? Can you talk? Linda, you keep freezing.
Okay, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
This is my old computer. Can you hear me?
Yes. Not anymore.
Oh, okay. My grandmother came from Yan, and my grandfather who lived, not anymore. It's my old computer. Okay, don't worry. Forget it.
You keep freezing. Okay. All right, we'll come back maybe.
My grandfather came from Turkey. All right. I'm going to try to go on with my phone.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. Judith Matza? Oh, we can't hear you. You're not muted, but I don't know what the problem is. Oh, can't hear you. Okay, we'll have to figure that out. All right, Leah Pinker.
Might have her audio down, maybe very low.
Yeah, maybe. Leah Pinker. Leah, are you there? You have to unmute. Okay, we'll go on to, let's see, who haven't we heard from? Some of the same people.
Can you hear me now?
Let's see. Well, who's talking? Linda, are you back on? No. All right. I think, did we hear from everybody? Well, Shelley Cohen.
Hello everyone. Greetings. We are Shelley and Steve Cohen from Ocean Pines, Maryland. We are originally from New York, actually Ashkenazi, but we are excited to learn about the Greek Sephardic.
Wow, you're honoring us.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay, Lydia.
Can you hear me?
Hard to hear you.
Oh, okay. How about now?
Still hard.
I don't know what to do.
Okay, that's better. A little bit.
Anyway,
that's
my
good.
father is Greek from Athens, and his family was from Monastir in Yugoslavia. And I grew up in Venezuela, learning Ladino and French from my grandmother. And I've been loving all your lectures, and I'm very excited to learn more.
Okay, great. And Sandra C. Are you there? Okay. Can't hear from you. All right. So did anybody else?
I got on my phone. Can you hear me?
There you
Linda?
are. Yes.
Okay, Linda
Yes.
Kinsberg. Okay, my other computer's dying. So my grandmother was born in Yanina. My grandfather was born in Turkey, but they were like on the same block for 10 years difference. Borders changed. And they came to the Lower East Side, got married. They were introduced here. I was born as I'm the grandchild of my grandmother's daughter, Esther. And I lived on Lower East Side on Eldridge Street till I was 11. And I was part of the shul growing up on Broome Street. And I'm trying to get back into the realm of it. And I've been in touch with Marsha and going on all these wonderful Zoom meetings you guys have had. I can speak Spanish, so I understand Ladino, although my grandmother basically spoke Greek. My grandparents came in 1916 or 17, I think it was. And my grandmother always told me stories about the lake in Yanina. That was very important. And that she told me that she was actually born in her mother's underwear while she was doing laundry at the lake.
That's Greek women for you. Right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, lugging all that laundry. So And I married Ashkenaz, and my kids are all raised like Ashkenaz, but I'm trying to get them to learn, get back into some of the cultures and things that we did. I wasn't religious growing up. I became religious as an adult. So all my kids are religious, but they really like to see the different traditions. So it's very fascinating.
Yeah. Okay, great.
And thank you.
Thank you. So if there's anyone that didn't say a few words about themselves, please unmute now, because now we will transition to sort of focusing a little bit on Pesach, since that's what's coming up. And I just wanted to start with the fact that for me, Pesach is the best of the holidays that we have. We look forward to it all the time. It's absolutely my favorite, and I think my family's favorite as well. And I too married a zigazug, so it's always a challenge to include all the traditions in. But the reason that I love it is because it puts together the three main ingredients that I feel make for a real Greek celebration, and that is family, traditions, and food. You put those three together, and you have a real festive occasion. So one of my earliest memories about Pesach, and my sister Regina may have the same memory, or others, or she may tell me that I'm making it up, but because I was very young. But I remember the frenzy of cleaning in the household that began immediately after Purim. And I think I've been blessed with that memory, because I have the same feeling inside of me that right after Purim, oh, I have to clean. Whereas my American friends say, what do you mean you have to clean? Why do you have to clean your closet and your bath? You don't eat there, because I say you have to clean the whole house. That's what I grew up with. I grew up with seeing hanging the bedding out over the balconies to get the fresh spring air, beating the rugs, cleaning every part of the house, especially the kitchen, of course. I also remember my mother dipping our plates in boiling water in order to kosher them for Pesach, because the double settings and all of that, we didn't have. So other memories for me, from when I was very young, include huge sedarim, the seders, with extended family, 50 or so people, which has been handed down to me, and not during COVID, of course. 50 or so people come to our home as well. And I think of it as a blessing that I've been able to continue that. My father singing the whole Haggadah in Hebrew and explaining it step by step in Greek. You can imagine how long that is. Women running around serving, up and down, not really sitting at all. Regina, you're holding that Haggadah. That was the Haggadah we used. Yep, and I have one with the same marks and spills on it. Lots of singing. We children, the little ones, often played under the tablecloth, as we waited for the beginning of the meal with the cracking of the hard-boiled eggs in brown that are hard-boiled in onion skins. And it was not until we came to America that I discovered that some of the things that we did, nobody ever heard of here. And the foods that we had, nobody ever heard of. And I realized that, it wasn't quite the same. But we have to thank that first generation of immigrants who continued to get together and cook our special foods, do our special customs, eggs browned in onion skins, elbowing one another during Dayenu. I don't know if anybody else did that, or if that was just a Valelli thing. I don't know. You can chime in on that. Passing the Seder basket we used over our heads during the Seder, delicious date-based charoset, chicken farfel avolemono soup, and much, much more. So now what I am always thinking about is that the younger generation, we can continue much of this as much as we can, and then we have our children's generation, and that's the challenge. So our melodies now may not be as strong. They're not as strong. I miss my father's voice. Some have faded from our memories altogether. And not as much Greek is heard around the table because less and less people are understanding it. And American customs are creeping in, which is not to be judgmental or anything, but we have to be inclusive of those as well. So we continue to cook the foods that we can and practice the traditions that we can while trying to figure out how to keep them going. So thank you for all that you're doing to keep them going and sharing that with you. So Pesach is still my favorite holiday of all. So I'd love to open it up for Pesach traditions. We'll have some recipes on in a booklet, right, Ephraim, that you prepared. So, but of course, it's only 3 or 4 that I pulled together. So just, I guess, raise your hand if you want to tell us what, you used to do, what you miss. Linda? Oh, you have to unmute.
I remember my, with the pot going over their head, the Seder plate, placing it over their head. And that we don't do in the Ashkenaz tradition. And I remember that when I was about my grandmother. And she used celery leaves, like to dip into the water, the salt water. And when I do it now, everyone says, where'd you get that idea from? I says, my grandmother from Greece,
Right.
Those are the 2 things I remember. And the part where we say Pesach Matzah Umaror, my uncle used to scream it so that make sure no matter who was talking, not paying attention, they would hear it.
Exactly. I remember that too. And Regina and I, of course, remember when my brother, who was, a little more rebellious than the girls, for some reason, when he was, 6 years old, he didn't feel like saying it. And my father wouldn't go on with the Seder until he said it. And from then on, every time we get to that part, we look at my brother, who's now 74 years old. We say in Greek, Pesto, Vito. Say it, Victor. So, and he, it's just funny now. Linda Silverman. Oh, you have to unmute. Can you unmute? We can't hear you. Maybe I can unmute you. Let's see. No, I can't. I have to ask.
There.
Okay.
Okay.
It's interesting that you and the Linda before said the passing of the plate, the Seder plate at the beginning. It's interesting because my cousins, Sarah and Leonore, who you met, the Naftalis, did not have that plate passed over their head.
Interesting.
And when we were in the Kehillah, we met matzahs from California, and they did pass the plate. So there seems to be a lot of, even within a family, of traditions that have changed. That's the first one. And we also put our hands on the table. And at the beginning of the Seder, we would all put our hands down. And I happen to have a 1973 tape of my grandfather, Saul Matzah, doing the Passover Seder in Hebrew, in English, and in Greek.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's great, because we are looking for our father's tape, right, Regina? We have it somewhere. Βάζουμε τα χέρια στο τραπέζι και λέμε «Βαγεδաբέρ Αδωνάι something זה השולחן לפני אדוני».
Polikala.
That's right. Right. Okay, that's great. Daniela.
Let's see. One thing that I'd like to ask is, what do you do with the 10 plagues? In our family, we have a bowl and we have a cup of wine, and we are not supposed to look as the person saying the 10 plagues drops the wine drop by drop into the bowl, and then it's taken away.
Taken away.
We went to Ashkenazi friends for a Seder, and they took their wine glass, dipped their finger in it, and put a spot on their plate. And we're going, what?
Right.
It was so shocking to us that how could you do this? These are the plagues. You don't want to even touch them. So
that's an Ashkenazi custom.
I'm so glad you said that, because Regina.
So what I was going to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. You'll come back to you.
Okay.
Did you finish, Daniela? Had you finished?
I just want a couple other things. My father and his sister, who was very, very knowledgeable in services and in the Seder and all that, used to compete with each other on correcting what each other was saying. And the way he said it and the way they said it, I hear it in my head, but we can't do it anymore.
I know what you mean.
I wish we had a way of repeating that.
I know. Regina, you wanted to... Yeah, go ahead.
We had the same Agadot.
Great.
Okay.
You wanted to say something about the plagues.
Well, yeah, what I was going to say is, first of all, we use vinegar instead of salt water. And for the 10 plagues, would take the bowl that we use for hand washing, they were empty, and the leader would take the vinegar that had been used for dipping and drip the vinegar into the bowl with each plague, and then he would wash his hands.
And we all looked away.
Yes.
Right, and we would throw the water in the bowl with the vinegar away. And the other thing is that none of us are allowed to look at the leader while he's reciting the 10 plagues. And our mother used to scold us if we, because we wanted to see what was happening at the head of the table. And it was no, don't look the other way. So no dipping with but the grandchildren now dip their fingers,
So I have to say, as a Jewish educator, one of the hardest things I had to do when I was teaching Pesach is to watch everybody say the plagues all together and dip their fingers. And the latest thing within the last 15 years is you play with, they have these little toy plagues that the kids throw around, little plastic locusts and cotton balls for the hail. And I mean, it is something that is done in the Hebrew schools and in all the religious schools and the day schools for the little kids. And I'm always cringing because you're not supposed to look. It was a terrible thing. So anyway.
There is a video at the Greek Shul on Broome Street. I bought a while back that Jani, let him rest in peace, led a Greek Seder. A model Seder. So if people, I have it. If people want to check with Marsha, you might be able to get it.
Oh, that's good to know. Thank you. Esterina, I think you have your hand up.
Yes. During our Seder, when I grew up in West Hartford, Connecticut, so my father was the president of the Sephardic shul there, believe it or not. We had a Sephardic minyan there, only on the high holidays, and they were usually from Turkey, Greece, some Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, and Israel. So I didn't mention that before, but I thought that would be interesting. anyways, we dipped in vinegar, the romaine, not salt.
Romaine or the
romaine, the romaine lettuce,
the
right?
greens.
Right, and we had keftes de plaza we had with the egg together. Always, that was the first
Interesting.
Meal. The first part of our meal was the keftes with the huevo habanado, and then we go into the meal. But before you were mentioning the 10 plagues, my father would take the wine and pour it into the bowl while my mother was pouring water at the same time. I don't know what that was meaning for, but then my mother would walk my father out the door and throw it into the street.
Right. You have to take it out of the house. We did that too.
It was
and also my father would wash his hands after
right,
that.
Of course. That was the tuma part. So, and we also did not look. And we used to try to sneak, all of us younger ones say, oh, we have to look what dad is doing. He's pouring the wine.
Right.
Why can't we watch? Why can't we watch? You know, it was like, that was an interesting thing. Now I'm married to a Kurdish Iraqi Jew from Israel. My Seder is different because we have rice. I didn't grow up on rice. Now it's mostly rice, and maybe I'll buy 3 pounds of potatoes if I'm lucky. But the food is different, but I combine it with the Greek food, of course. And the charoset is different by the Kurdish. Mine was apricot, dates, walnuts, and wine was the Greek, what I learned. And then his is peanuts, sesame, and wine, peanuts. So there, I don't know if we grew up with peanuts. Do you remember if we are allowed to eat peanuts?
Yes, you are allowed to eat peanuts.
I don't know if we ate the peanuts, but sesame, peanuts, and wine is the one I make. So what I do is I make both charosets because my kids like, so I work hard by doing the two. But that was basically, you know, my good memories and, you know.
Yeah. So just to clarify something. So how many of us here, raise your hand, eat the legumes, peas, beans during Pesach? Okay, yep. So those of us that eat that also eat the peanuts because that's the same family.
Right.
But if you don't, then you wouldn't eat the peanuts.
Right. Yeah. We have that in the charoset, which was interesting because my Ashkenaz friends, my neighbors said, what are you, crazy? That's you're not allowed to eat that. I said, well, if I eat rice, I can eat, you know, the peanuts then, you know.
How many eat rice? Okay. Different, okay, great. Louisa, you had your hand up? No? Okay. Anybody else?
Okay, yeah. I just want to say, I remember the charoset. My mother had this metal thing that you hooked up under the table that you screwed it on, and you had to go round and round with your hand, and she would put all these dried fruits and apples and citrus, oranges to make it. And eventually we would have one people in the community make a lot and give it out to everybody because it was very hard to make.
Yes.
And also we, at the last few years, it was said in Ladino, but the grandchildren didn't understand Ladino or Greek. So we all had different seders, different books, Haggadot. And the biggest thing was, what page are we on? What page are we on? Because they didn't understand, you know, and then also the women hovering all around with the food.
All the time.
You know, they never sat down.
Right.
They were just hovering around.
Right.
But it was a wonderful time. And everybody got their favorite food. And the breaking of the eggs to the new generation, it was a big deal.
Right, it's a game. It's wonderful.
Right.
How many people play the game?
I still play it. Yes.
Oh, we do.
That is the Greek Orthodox tradition, an
Correct.
Eastern tradition.
I know.
Yes.
So is the coloring of the egg.
Yes. Yeah. And also I make and we make buñuelos. You know buñuelos with the honey?
Yeah, I don't. I know what it is, but I don't make
Yeah,
it.
it doesn't have the flour. And also, with the pita, we'd make it with matzo meal and hot water and make it like a dough.
Yeah, that's great.
And the praso keftedes.
Praso
which were
keftedes, right.
Oh, the
I actually
best.
have a recipe on. So we have a lot of people that want to speak. So Ephraim, what are we okay going on a little bit more than 5:30?
Yes, people are free to stay as long as they'd like.
Okay, but I also want you to show the booklet, so don't leave when you go, so you can.
Yeah, I'll be here. I'm
Okay,
here.
all right. So Irving, and then we'll just go around.
Yeah, so we do pass the plate over the head so that everyone is covered by the blessing, singing y tornarán la parte en la mesa y dirán cuánto fue demorada la noche la esta, etc.
Which one is that now? Is that the four?
That's the Theokashis.
The 4 questions. Okay.
And then we do the plagues. As the leader, I do the plagues there. We have one of the young women and my wife. The one pours the vinegar over my fingers. My wife washes it off. We do it in Hebrew and in Ladino. And then with the last, all the water is poured over my hands, and that's taken outside the home.
Are people looking or not?
No. They were not to look. My grandfather told me quite clearly that if I did look, I would pisha negro, which for the uninitiated means I pee black. So that was generally not something I welcomed. In later years, I didn't pass that on, but I did tell my kids and my grandkids not to look because I was making out with their grandmother. The brown eggs are the big hit of the meal, of course. It was immediately followed with the masa calde or avgolemeno con masa, which my Ashkenazi wife makes like a Greek. And then keftiedes, the prasa, the spinaca, and stuffed peppers and tomatoes and squash. A little rice was added in token to the fact that I'm a bit of a rebel and I like to do that because we're Sephardi, even though the Ashkenaz in the house are always scandalized by the matter.
Right, yes, they are.
Yeah, and there is more food than any human being should be allowed to eat in a given week. And then of course there's the chicken soup and the matzah balls for the other side.
For the other side, yeah.
Yeah. And the women fussing and tending and doing and pouring and cleaning and what it's just it's a music of its own. The tinkling of the glasses and the serving dishes and the people calling out, "What's the matter? We're short of eggs this year." My wife makes 9-10 dozen eggs.
Right, I know.
She saves onion skins from now, from the day after Pesach till the next year.
Right.
So we also made acharoseth out of raisins, and we used. We also we would do the. What was the 3 words that someone was just mentioning?
Pesach, matzah,
umaror. We would also say ilichuga, which is the Ladino sense. And if you didn't say that, everybody would stop until you could proceed. And then.
Right. Yeah. So we have a lot of customs, in common, but it's fascinating to hear. So I know there were lots of other people that had their hands up. So who are you? Lenore, Naftali.
Just a couple of things. First, a comment about peanuts. I remember back when I was growing up, my mother used to get peanut oil. The only oil she can get that was with the kosher for Passover sticker on it was peanut oil.
So peanut oil is kosher for Pesach, even though Ashkenazim won't eat peanuts. So that's something weird there.
Yeah. In terms of acharosis was based on raisins and walnuts, but my father said that every fruit in season had to be in it. So he put in a little bit of every fruit available.
Oh, that's great.
So we also used the meat grinder, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for the processor.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You remember he used to make little balls? I
Yes.
don't know why he made
Balls
them.
of
They
challah.
look like little meatballs.
Mhm.
And then you mash them up, which
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense at all.
No, you waited for the Seder to mash them up.
Correct.
Wine
and you mashed.
And then he poured vinegar on it or wine.
No.
I don't remember which.
Wine.
Wine or
Wine.
vinegar. Yeah, just to get it going. Yeah, that's great.
My last comment is that we had our traditional Haggadah was Maxwell House.
Yeah.
So we just got one for everybody in the family.
Right. Yeah, why not?
Or Barasini's chocolates, I think also.
Ooh,
Right.
we had that one.
Oh, that's right.
Rabbi Maxwell House is a very renowned rabbi, of course.
Of course. Regina,
Not
did you-
Barasini's, Barton's chocolate.
That's true. Barton's chocolate. Yeah. Regina, did you want to add something?
A couple of people wrote in the chat about meat pie, and I just wanted to say that even though, and I'm Rachel's sister, I came from Patras, I'm a Romaniote Jew, but I married a Sephardic Jew from Larissa, and I learned a lot of ways that my in-laws, which were very different from our ways. So one of the things that I learned to make was pastel, which is the meat pie with a matzah meal, oil and water dough. And we just use, my mother-in-law just used ground beef for the inside, not organ meats like original recipe. But and that was served in the beginning together with the egg, and then the Ashkenazi side, one of my brother-in-laws married an Ashkenazi. They would have the gefilte fish, and we would all say, "Ooh, we can't eat that gefilte." So, yeah, but we served the meat pie and all the other the leek patties and the spinach, meat wrapped in spinach, and artichokes. That's one thing that my mother.
Artichokes. That was a big deal.
My mother always made artichokes, and I also do that to this day. But any of you make lamb for Passover?
Yes.
My mom
Yeah?
used to make lamb shanks every Passover.
We always do.
The
And
Romaniote
And when you say Zlan Netuya, my father-in-law would pick up the lamb shank, which was enormous, and he would shake it, shuckle a little bit. The Zlan Netuya, the big arm, and he used to laugh because my parents were Ashkenazim, and they had the little chicken bone. And he says, that's Zlan Netuya. He says we wouldn't have gotten to the Nile even with that. He says we needed a real big Zlan.
In Greece, we had lamb for our Seder, but ever since we came to this country, the lamb was not satisfactory enough to my mother. It always smelled.
She didn't like American lamb.
Yeah, it smelled too gamey for her. It wasn't the lamb from Greece. I mean, nothing tasted or smelled the way it did in Greece. So.
Right.
We had lamb with bizelia.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, bizelia, right.
Right.
So somebody mentioned, I'm trying to look through this chat, about Nikos Stavroulakis' Greek Jewish cookbook, which is where some of the recipes that I sent to Ephraim, not many, but this is the book, which is great. It's the only thing I found that's even matches some of what my mother used to make. So it's really good because she didn't have anything written down, of course. So we can use that.
The book is available from the Yanina Shul on the Lower East Side.
Right.
Contact Marsha. She gets a shipment every so often, and they sell out as soon as she gets them.
Yeah, she had run out, and now she got some more, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can somebody tell me about the egg game?
So the egg game is, well, the way we play it, and it's great. I mean, with kids, that's one of the things they look forward to. Of course, they're colored. So some people use red onion skins and some brown. I use brown. So everybody gets an egg. So you start cracking each other's eggs, and
forehead?
on the top, you hold, and one against the other. So who's ever.
Put it in the palm of your hand.
You put it, you hold it like this with the top out a little bit, and you tap it. Whoever is not broken then goes on to the next person and the next person. And it's not really very well organized because everybody is everywhere and everybody's going across the table or here and there and there. And, who's the egg champion, whatever.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
You tap the egg.
You tap each other's egg to see who's going to crack.
Oh, I see. You tap somebody else's egg.
Somebody else's egg.
And the one who cracks, they're
out of the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, unless you turn it over.
Then you turn it over. You hide.
That's cheating.
Right.
That's cheating, Regina.
The other thing is does anybody else elbow their neighbors for Dayenu? Regina, I'm beginning to wonder, how come we do it? Was that something our parents invented to wake everybody up?
Well, that's what they would say. By that time of the service, everybody's like falling asleep. So Dayenu, you go wake everybody up.
But in Iraqi and Iranian, sort of hit themselves with leeks or spring onions.
Wow.
You've heard that, right?
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, you hold the leek or the spring onion by the white part, so the green part, and then you hit each other.
Like
which is supposed to be like the slaves hitting the slaves.
Oh my God.
With a whip, but it's funny. Nobody does. I should look at the other screen. Nobody does the elbowing. Now I feel really weird.
We're gonna still do it now.
Don't feel weird.
David, do you do it?
David, yes, David Baruch.
1 second. Yes, we used to do it in Greece. We did it here as long as Betty was alive. Unfortunately, right now, I am the only one.
Yeah.
And we go to Ashkenazi style.
Right. All right. Well, I'll have to
maybe it's a patras. Maybe it's a patrino.
Maybe it's a patras thing.
No, including Yanina.
Oh.
I know because my father's sister, Esther Gani, or before the war, Esther Kabai, they did it, the same thing in Yanina and the same thing in Arta. My father and the family from my father's side were born and raised in Arta, and everything came from Arta to Patras, and they're the same.
I gotta go, Rachel.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We're gonna be ending soon as well.
Rachel, I have one comment to Irving, and Irving spoke so nicely about his family's Seder, and he also gave us some wonderful words. And he started out by saying this was a burden that he had and that he was passing on. And I want to tell Irving, it's an honor.
It is an honor. Yes.
Yes, at the time when I was 15, it seemed like an enormous burden.
It's an honor to do that.
I would add for all of us that this year I am adding an 11th plague. And I think you all can guess what that is. So
yeah, of course.
One quick thing. Andrew Lovinger says he can do a demo for us with the eggs.
Yes, demonstration. Very easy.
I hope
so. you hold the eggs so that
the hard boiled
side is opposed against the narrow side, or the broad side against the broad side.
Okay.
One like this, and then the other person goes that way, and you see the bottom got broken.
You happen to have hard boiled eggs.
And then you reverse and do the broad side, and so I can try.
Well, we used to do something different.
That's how it works.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun, even though it comes from the Greek Orthodox. That's okay. I mean, an egg is a symbol in both religions.
Yes.
And yeah, it's really a lot of fun. So one of the things I wanted to say is that it came a time that we had to add gefilte fish to our Seder because there were too many Ashkenazim around the table.
Too many civilians.
And it was really hard for me to see this fish thing. But anyway, we added it on. We didn't take anything else away. So we just keep adding and adding, which means more.
Hay que hacer peixe en salsa. Es más mejor. Peixe en salsa.
Yeah.
Con el vinagre y walnut. Es
Mm-hmm.
más mejor. Más mejor.
My grandmother would make a cod, a baked cod, and tomato and parsley. Must be like what you're describing, Daniela. Terrific.
No,
watch the bones.
It's a little different because it's parboiled in a walnut and vinegar sauce, and there's something like it in the book, the cookbook, but it's wrong. The sauce is wrong. It's too thick. So, but it's
yeah.
Rachel, did you have a different kind of fish before you added gefilte fish to your Seder?
No, we did not eat fish for the Seder. We had chicken, we had meat, beef, and that's, we never had fish at the Seder.
I'll send you the recipe.
Okay, but I have the recipe in this book.
No, it's not as good. I'll send you my family recipe.
Right. And we also have all the kind of everybody's charoset. Everybody brings so much. I make the date one, the classical Greek date one, and the Ashkenazim. I make also the apple one for the Ashkenazim. And then my daughter-in-law brings the Persian one, which is very sort of fragrant. Yeah, we just have to eat a lot. So,
Rachel, I've got a quick question. I know that in our family, we hard boil the eggs, but I've been seeing where a lot of people like bake their eggs or roast their eggs.
Roast their eggs in the oven, yes.
How do most of you all do it?
I do it boiling as well, but I think you have to boil them first before you put them directly into the oven, right? Isn't that no?
I think my grandmother would boil them and then heat them up in the oven. In an enamel pan.
Yeah, that's what
How long do you heat or do you roast them for?
Till they're
I think overnight you roast them. If
Like
you put them in a low oven overnight and just keep them there like at 125, 150.
We would make chamin. We'd make a chamin and put them on top.
Yeah.
Not cook them first and just leave them with the onion. We'd put some onion skins on top.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
And coffee grounds.
Yeah.
You know, some people put coffee grounds too.
And I saw somebody who uses a slow cooker.
You
Somebody
have to
uses a
have
slow
one
cooker.
egg that's really burned on the fire. Most people do it on top of the stove, but you can do it in the oven to put on the Seder plate.
Seder plate.
Yeah.
You have one really burned one, not just.
Now that's interesting. I never heard that one.
Yeah, because that represents the sacrifice.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
So it's out of its shell when you do that. You put it on.
No,
it's in the shell, and you use it for both nights and then throw it away.
Now, who has the custom of the egg from the Seder plate being saved so that the eldest unmarried daughter will eat it the next morning?
Never heard that one.
Newlyweds would get that egg.
Newlyweds, so they would have a child, but also my daughters all had to eat an egg at some point in their lives. I don't know who made that up, but that
nowadays women would freeze the eggs. So look,
that's right. That's right. So Sarah.
I'm still intrigued by the custom of hitting each other with the scallions. Where would you do that in the Seder? What part of the Seder?
Dayenu, during Dayenu.
It would have been enough.
Right, and you just kind of, tap each other. You can see video, YouTube, it's on that. A family's doing that and they're laughing hysterically doing it. Ephraim, have you heard of that custom?
In Los Angeles, well, and elsewhere, Persian Jews do that.
Yeah.
And you sort of, I mean, there aren't really any rules, but I think people generally aim for the wrist, so no one gets hurt.
No one gets hurt. But
my Yanina family did it. My Yanina family did that.
Okay.
But my Ashkenazi side of the family, nothing doing.
No, they don't. When my in-laws first came to our Seder, I think they were totally shocked. It was like, they were like, are you always so unruly?
Are you Jewish?
No, because they were so proper and quiet and, you know, everything was in order.
Well, I've heard that the Italians choose someone to be the pharaoh and sort of tells, you know, who can hit whom.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. So Ephraim, you put this wonderful booklet together, and everybody has the link, right? Yes. Do you want to show anything from that, or?
What's the link?
Yeah.
So just some recipes. What do you have there also? Anything else?
No, where is the link?
It's in the
At
chat.
the beginning of the chat.
I'll put it on there again now.
And how do we get it off of the chat?
Good question.
You cut and paste it.
Copy, paste.
You just highlight it, cut it, and paste it into your browser.
Yeah.
Hit the link and it'll come right up and you can download it.
Do you think you could send it to Gmail?
Maybe send it, email it to us.
Yeah, I'll email it to everyone after the meeting. And
Thank
then
you.
So before we end, I have been trying to find people that used to sing Had Gadya also in Greek at the Seder table. Did anybody do it in Greek as well as Hebrew? Ohi. I know Ladino, people do it in Ladino.
I don't know what you're referring to. I do have my grandfather's tape.
It's the
Enakatziki. In Greek, it's Enakatziki.
And nobody sings it because
I think the CD from the Jewish Museum in Athens of the Passover Seder probably has Enakatziki on it.
Right, so it's great. And my kids who don't speak Greek, unfortunately, they understand a lot, but they know Enakatziki.
Why not?
They get mixed up with the skilo and the xilo and the gata. They get mixed up.
Rachel, I've got a funny story about Had Gadya.
Andrew, we'll get back to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, in relation to the katsikaki and so on, there is now a new Haggadah, Greek Haggadah, written by the former rabbi of Athens, which is in both Hebrew, in Greek, and Ladino, as well as English. And it is at the end in Greek, the Enakatsikaki, if you can see.
Is it singable? Is it the singing?
I don't know. I've never sung it, so I don't know the melody.
Well, Enakatsiki.
Exactly, that's what it says.
Oh, we have the old one. Thank you.
Andrew.
Okay.
Andrew, can you hold up the cover again?
Sarah, I'm going to get back to you.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And that's
Andrew, it's in English too?
It's in English too.
Where can you get it from the Jewish community of Athena?
Yes, from the Jewish community of Athens. Yes.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. That's wonderful. We will get that. Sarah, I'm sorry. You were not.
Oh, that's okay. At our family Passovers, our Seders, they used to drink so much wine that they used to sing for Had Gadya. They'd sing Had Gadya no halva. Oh, that was funny.
Okay.
Rachel?
Everybody, wait a minute. This is a Haggadah. Andrew, I'm sure you know this because it's from Greece. That's 1970, published by the Jewish community of Thessaloniki.
Oh, I don't have from Thessaloniki. Okay.
And it has Hadgadia in the back in Greek. It has Enakavrito que lo merso mi padre de dos.
That's
And it has it in
Ladino. That's
it has in
Ladino.
Ladino and in Greek.
And that's the
And it has the music for it.
okay. That's the Ladino one, and we have Ladino members.
But it has it in Greek too.
Okay.
And it has a summary of the history of Pesach in Greek. It's in Greek, Hebrew, and Ladino. Rachel, I gave you my email. Send me your email, and I'll send you the citation for this. I've had this since 1970.
You mean in the chat? You want it in the chat?
No, I sent you my email in the chat to you personally.
Okay. Thank you.
Annette, can you show the cover of that book again?
Well, the cover itself is here.
I got that.
I know that
The
one.
front page.
That's what we used.
I have
The
that one.
front page is,
Yeah.
and it's from
That's the
Thess.
one- Well, that's the one that my sister showed. That's the Greek one. I have that. Yeah.
It's Greek.
The
and
old one. And it has some Ladino.
It has both languages.
Yeah. Yeah. But the Greek that it has is not the singable Greek. It's just the translation.
No, it has it here. Enakavrito. Well,
That-
that's Spanish.
Ladino. That's Ladino. That's
I know that.
Enakatsiki.
And a katsiki that you can sing. Some of them is just a translation. And you
But it
can't-
has the words in Greek right there.
Right, but that's not singable. In other words, it doesn't rhyme. It's not a rhythm. It's not.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it is.
Okay.
Go ahead,
What's-
sing it.
So
Rachel?
what's the first line?
The Haggadah from Sarajevo.
Oh, yeah.
From Sarah. Yeah, we have that one too.
The facsimile, yeah.
Rachel?
Yeah.
I need to leave, but I just want
I
to
know, we're
thank you
gonna leave
once
too.
again for these amazing
This was fun.
meetings. And I have to express my admiration if for a woman, women rarely say that Pesach is their favorite holiday because of everything that comes before. And the fact that you do, you have my utmost admiration.
Well, it is my favorite because it's you can't even stand afterwards. You're so tired after the whole thing, but then you know that you really
Did a good job.
You did it.
Did a
And
good
everybody
job,
had
and you have
fun.
50 people at your table, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, well, I did
Okay.
last year, and we're not having.
Bye. Shalom.
Okay, Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
We also did
Chag
mention
Sameach.
Shavuot.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
Shavuot we didn't mention. Oh, well.
Ronya Pala Kekala.
Tanya Pola, everybody.
Kekala.
Hi.
Να μην ξεχάσουμε τα ελληνικά.
Αυτό
Βέβαια.
είναι. Να μην τα ξεχάσουμε.
Είναι σπουδαίο πράγμα αυτό. Μήπως μπορούμε να κάνουμε καμία... Στη Αθήνα, there's a class now being given that they'll teach adults
I
Greek,
know. My
Greek
children, some of my-
traditions
right.
and whatever. I signed up for the class.
It's on Sunday morning, right?
No,
Where
it
is it?
starts this week.
Where is that?
Στη κοινότητα της Αθήνας. The Athens
You can sign up.
e-learning.
Is it online?
It is
Yes.
online.
Can you
Yes.
send the link? Can Ephraim send the link to that to everyone?
That would be great.
Okay,
Yeah, it
I'll
costs.
find that for everyone.
It does cost.
Thank you.
For everyone.
It's done from the Athena.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
you have to do it this week. It's going to be
Okay.
starting soon. It's really great. It's 90 minutes, 60 to
started
90-minute
yesterday.
classes once a week.
Today, it started this morning.
Well, mine isn't until Thursday. Started
Okay.
this week.
This week. Okay, my children are taking some of that. I teach on Sunday morning, so I can't do it. But
Yeah, it's really good. You can learn your customs and traditions, also the language, a little bit to write, and it's very good. It was originally for children, and now they made it for adults too.
okay, that's great. Ephraim, can you save the chat for me
Yes.
so I can see who said what? I don't know how to do
Rachel,
that.
I want you to know, mamamu, Atkis in a Tafrizi, just like you.
Yes.
You know, these cortinas, new curtains, sometimes
know.
painting, everything έπρεπε να είναι καθαρά.
Όλα πρέπει να είναι καθαρά, ναι. Και εγώ τα κάνω γιατί θυμάμαι τη μαμά.
Τη μαμά μου θυμόταν τη γιαγιά, ναι.
Yeah, yeah. So that keeps us connected, all these memories. It keeps us connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thank you so much for this class.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you so much.
Pesach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
Ephraim.
Ephraim.
Ephraim Esther.
Have a
Tודה
good
רבה.
Pesach. And stay
Welcome.
well. Get your shots.
Ephraim, I sent you a link, a question in the chat. I don't know if you saw it.
Please.
If there's a way you could help me out with that, that would be great. I sent it to you privately. Everybody, this was wonderful. I would give $18 billion to have a Seder with my grandparents again and my aunts and uncles. And I have beautiful memories. And these wonderful programs are great. I thank the Sephardic Heritage for making them.
Yes,
everybody have a beautiful Pesach. And Rachel, I just want to tell you, with all of those harosis you're making, all the different types, please do not get harosis of the liver. Oh, okay.
All right. I have to remember that to say it for Pesach.
Please send the link to the E class for the Greek. It's really good thing for us to learn.
Okay. So, Ephraim, you're going to send that to the whole group?
We'll do that.
Great. And the link for the booklet you put together.
Oh, thank you.
All right. This is fantastic. Okay.
And then
thank
I
you for
have
the
recordings that go with the booklet, which I'll give you a link to so that you can listen to those.
Great, great. I want to hear the melodies.
Thank you, Ephraim.
A little bit of Latino,
Welcome.
a little bit of Greek.
Bye now.
Thank you, Ephraim.
All right. Bye.
Welcome.
Bye-bye.
Rachel, thank you so much.
Oh,
so meaningful.
Okay.
Καλό Πάσχα.
Καλό
Good night,
Πάσχα.
everybody.
Χρόνια πολλά.
Να είμαστε γεροί.
Να είμαστε γεροί. Amen, amen.
And Ephraim, thank you for all the work you're doing.
Yes,
you're
Ephraim,
welcome.
he's amazing.
Yes, Ephraim.
We appreciate it.
He's a one.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
He's the
Thank you,
energizer
Ephraim.
bunny. Okay, bye.
Hope to see you again soon. Yes,
Next
sir.
month.